Welcome back to Continental Club Extra from a World Cup reaction. And what a day. Extra. What a day of quarterfinals we've had. We saw Brazil out earlier on penalties after blowing a lead. And we almost saw Argentina do the same against the Netherlands. What a tetchy game. 2-2, 15 yellow cards, 48 fouls. It had everything, didn't it, Chris? The Netherlands, though, after managing to drag themselves back into it, they fluffed their lines at the end, didn't they?
They did. It's actually the first game they've lost since LVG took over. And I know a lot of people have said online that they had a really easy run coming into this, and Argentina are the first decent team that the Netherlands have pitched themselves against. But in this tournament, they've beat the AFCON champions, the Asian Cup champions, the CONCACAF champions, and of course they were up against the CONMEBOL elect, weren't they? And despite a late rally, an insipid attacking performance cost them in this fixture, I would say. Of course, LVG went with his tried and tested 3-4-1-2, Gakpo in the hole, obviously interchanging with Depay on that left-hand side, an approach that served him really well, by and large, for most of this tournament. But some of his more reliable performers, let's say, had off days, particularly his wing-backs. I didn't think he got a lot of progression out of them. Daley Blind came off after 64 minutes, 0 chances created. Denzel Dumfries, who I've been full of praise for in this tournament, and rightly so. He had an excellent campaign up until this game, but his game looked a little bit off. 0 chances created, 1 out of 4 long balls completed, dispossessed twice. I mean, he did put in a couple of tackles, but lost a lot of his ground duels, a lot of those 50-50s, and there were a fair amount of attacks or counter-attacks born out of those situations. He committed 6 fouls as well, so contributed heavily to the narrative with which you sort of opened. And only completed around 21 passes in the 120 minutes he played. Sort of emblematic of how, to steal one of your words, tetchy this game got. But as well as his fullbacks, it was LVG's creative players that let him down, like I said. I mean, they only produced 4 key passes to Argentina's 11, so didn't really concoct many shooting chances of their own accord. Depay, 0 shots, 1 chance created. Again, very representative of that. But I want to end with some positivity before we talk about what sort of worked for the Netherlands. And Ake, I thought, played really well, and Big Wout.
As Jay likes to say, 6'6". I mean, it's funny because they dominated possession, didn't they, for most of the game, but then couldn't really make a shot. We've just seen Spain go out, a lot of criticism about their kind of passing style, not really producing results, and we saw that really with the Netherlands until they brought on the big man himself, Wout Weghorst. He really did change the game and the style of which the Netherlands were really operating.
Yeah, I mean, 14 touches, 2 shots, 2 goals. The man does not mess around. But like you said, it was disappointing. For all the possession they had, it didn't amount to anything very penetrative. 3 shots in the 90 minutes. They did pick it up when he came on a little bit. I think they finished with, 2 shots on target after extra time.
Yeah.
But I think produced 7 in total to Argentina's 14. But both teams had 5 shots inside the box. So Argentina had more speculative efforts. Bit of stat padding in there, as we like to say. But they were the better side. I think deservedly went through. But Louis van Gaal, given there was a massive talent deficit on the bench, I thought he did really well to drag his side back into the equation. Even though some people might have questioned starting De Roon, for example, not starting someone like Koop Miners, who came on and had a big impact, a significant impact. In fact, him and Berghuis, 2 subs.
Yeah, I thought Berghuis was really good.
Got an assist each, and Wout got the 2 goals, right? So the changes he made were super effective. It's just a shame that, I mean, to take this Argentina side to penalties, I think in a penalty shootout 50-50, like you say, I think he would have taken that before the game, given the strength of the 2 lineups. But
Yeah, not good.
Not great, but a good last dance for the old dog, let's say.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out Louis van Gaal. And just to see a Netherlands side with Luc de Jong and Wout Weghorst for the last 40 minutes was playing up top was a very different look. And but what a goal, by the way. That 100th minute equaliser, that will go down in the echelons of World Cup glory.
The balls you have to try that free kick routine with your team staring into the World Cup abyss is significant. They are significant.
Well, listen.
Big old. balls.
The Netherlands, probably, big balls indeed, big balls indeed. Netherlands, quarter-final of the World Cup, not a bad tournament. Let's move on to Argentina.
Yeah, can you spit some Argentina facts to me? Because I've spoke a lot about the Netherlands there.
I mean, for 80 minutes, they're coasting in this match. And our whole narrative is about how defensively solid they've looked. Some really good performances in that side. I thought Acuna had his best game that I've ever seen him play, quite frankly. 3 tackles, 1 interceptions, 9 out of 11 ground duels won, which is really impressive. We saw him win the penalty, 2 out of 2 dribbles. So yeah, I thought Acuna was quality. Molina burst forward, got that goal. Even Romero looked really solid, but then caused way too many problems by the big men when they came on.
Got vouted, mate.
Got vouted indeed. And yeah, they kind of undid. And then suddenly you're thinking, no, this team is being held up by Messi, because that is kind of how it looked for the majority of that match. I mean, it was a Messi masterclass, certainly up to the 80th minute, and then he slightly disappeared towards the end of the match. But yeah, I mean, what a pass to unlock Molina for that goal. That's one of the best kind of reverse passes you'll see. You watch the highlights, he gives a little side eye, a little look, and then plays that ball in. It's just perfectly weighted. And you were saying during the match, just the weight of every one of his passes, certainly in the first half, was truly brilliant to behold. I mean, he's got 1 goal, 1 assist in this match, 6 shots, 2 out of 3 dribbles completed, 3 key passes. His numbers in this tournament are crazy. 8.1 shots and key passes per 90 at the moment. He's got 3 goals and I think 2 assists, if you count that Enzo Fernandez layoff in the second game. And yeah, he's been involved in 50% of over 50% of Argentina's goals in this tournament. Now has 11 World Cup goals, tied, what was it, with Batistuta all time for Argentina, which is epic. 7 assists as well. He is pairing, and if they're going to get anywhere in this tournament, he's the man who's going to have to drag it through. But it is slightly worrying.
Maradona, by the way, has more assists.
Only
Just like
Maradona.
jump in there. Saw that tweet, probably off Statman Dave or something. Nicked it off him. Cheers, Dave.
Well, I mean, what footsteps to walk in. But yeah, I mean, Messi will be, I'm sure, be almost shocked at what happened, that kind of implosion. But I mean, where did it go wrong for Argentina, in your opinion? Like, what happened in the final kind of 40 minutes? Obviously, in the second half of extra time, they were quality, 7 shots, hit the post right at the end. But where did it all go wrong for Argentina in this game?
I mean, it just felt like individual errors, didn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, Otamendi gives away the free kick that Koopmeiners turned into that cute little setup, and Valverde, of course, finishes. And if that doesn't happen, we're not really talking about how Messi is carrying this side. It looks like a more comprehensive team performance. But that was the case come the end. And I had a quick look at how many times they lost the ball as a collective. And you expect it to be reasonably high because they've got a lot of players who probably would have been challenged by Scaloni to beat their man in one-on-one situations, right? But they lost the ball 29 times. And they only had 5 shots on target after 120 minutes of football, with Messi taking 2 of them. So in my mind, Argentina can't keep playing like this. They need to find a way, I suppose, to, if they're not going to be, I don't know, if there's not going to be an abundance of opportunities they're going to create, because they're maybe sacrificing that a little bit for defensive stability, they can't be committing those individual mistakes in and around their own box to that degree, to that volume. So, I mean, Otamendi's quite clearly there to stay in the heart of defence.
I thought he was probably the poorest out of the 3 centre-halves.
I mean, I don't know whether Scaloni will stick with the 3-5-2 moving forward. He's obviously chopped and changed. He's quite a reactive manager. That was to go kind of toe-to-toe with the Netherlands in this fixture. I thought Rodrigo de Paul was okay. He's come in for some undue flack in this tournament, but he came off after 67 minutes. McAllister probably was dispossessed more than I'd like as well. Normally a bit more secure in possession. Enzo Fernandez, probably the best midfielder for Argentina. Once again, he's growing into this tournament, and you imagine he's going to be... I mean, he missed his penalty, but he'll be willing to shoulder more responsibility moving forward. So it's really just those moments, those defensive moments that Romero, Otamendi, and Martinez all got booked, by the way. So all on tenor hooks for large parts of this game. It is just finding a way to limit those individual errors. Don't want to repeat myself any more than that. So yeah,
no, absolutely.
That's a fair assessment.
I do think it's a fair assessment. I think we need to shout out Emi Martinez as well. Did pull off 2 saves in the shootout. Obviously, broke into that Argentina side with his Copa America heroics in 2019, 3 saves in the semi-final. Was absolutely loving it after the saves he made. Finally, Chris.
Actually, do you want to say, I think that saved him. George Wright in the WhatsApp group did make a point that Emi Martinez
looks shaky.
He looks shaky. That's putting it diplomatically. 0 saves and an expected goals on target of 0.38 from what he faced. I think he probably could have done better with the Weghorst header.
Yes.
But that aside, he was giving it all beans in the shootout, and I love to see it.
He was. We've got our first semi-final, Argentina versus Croatia. We were saying during the game that if we were England or anyone, we would fancy playing this Argentina side.
Yeah.
I think it's true. I think it has to be said after that performance. Again, will Croatia be worried about this? I don't think so.
Christ, I mean, I think that, yeah, Argentina, if they play like they do today, they're going to lose the midfield battle. Croatia, I think more solid as a unit for sure, but Argentina, more inventiveness. They've obviously got Messi. More wild cards. But I think any team that comes up against Argentina, if they line up in that 3-5-2 again, are going to fancy finding space in between Romero and Otamendi or Martinez and Otamendi. Although Croatia a little bit stunted in attack, aren't they? They've got some physical options which might cause Otamendi and Martinez some problems in Petkovic. Kramaric obviously got a bit more craft, a bit more guile. I think Argentina will be very happy with this draw. I think Croatia probably aren't best placed to really punish them where they're weak. If they had really zippy, fast, creative wingers, maybe. Like I can see Mbappe just blowing Molina and Romero away down the left-hand side. Should France beat England and whatever?
It does have penalty shootout written all over it, which is exactly what Croatia will be going for, I imagine, in that game. But yeah, that's our first semi-final. What do you guys make of Argentina? What do you make of their performance today? Who do you think is going to get into the final from Croatia versus Argentina? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more World Cup action. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.